Good morning, and welcome to Workforce Skills with John Morris. Another Monday morning for me, another hectic day at work. It's pouring down rain here in Phoenix. Half our jobs are canceled because they're exterior work for our painting side of it, and it puts us in a little bit of a bind on a Monday morning. On top of all the guys calling out sick or flat tires or alarm clock didn't wake them up this morning. A little difficult. Today, I want to talk to you about personal preparedness for work and in life. That's kind of the topic of what I want to go over. Being prepared. How do you prepare yourself for work, for life in general? It's amazing how many people out there it's like they're winging it every single day. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know where they're going. They're just going through the motions. They're not prepared for anything. They just show up, they'll forget their tools at home. That's not being prepared. Forget their lunch. Forgot their wallet at home or whatever the case is. You've got to prepare yourself. You got to set standards. You got to set things in place to make sure you're prepared for what you're going to do that day. A lot of it starts with just in your own personal life, setting your clothes out the night before. We've talked about that previously. We've talked about having your lunch ready the night before. What about showing up for an interview? That's the first step when it comes to the work side of it. We'll run an ad every single Monday. We are shorthanded more than you can imagine. I'm probably shorthanded 10 guys every single day, at least. So we run an ad every Monday. We will get guys calling in. They will call in and say they're going to come in. Okay, you can come in between 7 and noon, Monday through Friday. What time would you like to come in? Oh, I'll be there at 9 o'clock the next morning. They don't show up. All of a sudden, they pop in at 11 o'clock. Well, you're already late, 2 hours late for the time that you set up to come see us. What does that tell us about you being on time and you following through with your commitment? Doesn't give me much hope. The other thing we notice too is guy comes in, starts filling out an application inside the office wearing his sunglasses. That doesn't give me a good impression. How about wearing your pants down below your ass? Sorry, don't need that. Put a belt on. I don't want you on a job site like that. It's a safety hazard in a sense. So what am I looking for in an interview? I'm looking for guys that are going to be attentive. They're going to sit up straight. They're going to give me direct answers. Not looking around the room, wondering about the answer to the question I just asked them. Simple, straightforward questions. Who have you been working for? Well, I worked over here and then I worked there, and you're bouncing from job to job. What are you doing to prepare yourself for this interview? If you're coming in to interview with my company, you better sure as hell go online and look our company up. See what we're about. What kind of company do we run? What kind of employees do we have? We have company pictures on there. Look at the group. See how they're dressed. See what your first impression is of our company. What do we do for charity work? We have some of that listed on there. We give back to the community. What are we trying to do to better our employees? It's not just an interview for me with you, but you for the company. How do you know my company's going to be a good fit for you? So how are you going to prepare for this? You're walking into a situation. All you know is you need a job. We run a painting company. I don't care how much experience you have at painting. Come in and be honest about what you can do. Don't come in and try and fool us, because I'm going to ask the right questions and know whether you can do it or not. With us, one of the first questions I asked, if you got experience painting, okay, can you brush, roll, spray? Oh, yeah, I can. Okay. If you're going to spray, what size tip are you going to put into that spray gun to paint an entry door and door jamb? It is amazing how many people don't have a clue what the sizes are. Well, I use a half or maybe a 1. Wrong answer. The correct answer would be maybe a 311, 411, or 315, 415. What a lot of these guys don't understand when they come in is there's 50 different sizes and tips depending on what you're painting and spraying. They don't have the right answer. Don't lie about it. Be honest and tell us, hey, I don't know a lot about this, but here's what I can do. We're going to train you. We're going to get you to that next level. That's our goal in the company. We're always trying to train these guys and people that work for us to get to that next level. There's a lot of companies out there that you go work for and, man, they keep their employees down. They never give them a chance to move up. They're not teaching them anything new. That's not what we're about. We're trying to raise everybody else to the next level with the rest of us. My goal in my company is to get every single employee up to my level. So how do I do that? How do I prepare them for that next step? Well, it starts with you coming in and acting prepared for an interview, being prepared for your job. Those are the guys we're looking for. Those are the guys that are going to have the best opportunity at moving up in position. They're the best ones that are going to be trainable. Are you coachable? Can I train you? These are the questions I'm going to ask you when you come in for an interview. What are your assets? What are you bringing to the table that's going to make you an asset to this company? How can I utilize you? There's nothing worse than having a guy come in and say, oh, I'm probably going to be your best painter. No, stop. Let's wait and see. Get out there and just prove yourself to me. It's amazing how many guys want $50 an hour. They've been painting for 2 years and they think they're worth $1 million. Doesn't work that way. You got to come in and prove yourself. It's amazing how every single person walking through the door tells me they can do everything. They're going to be the best painter. I'm going to be impressed by them. I'm never impressed until they show me what they can do. Don't talk about it. Show me you can do it. That's what we're looking for. Don't be slouching in a chair when you're in an interview. Sit up straight. Act attentive. Act like you want to be there. What are the questions you want to ask me about my company? Or what are the questions you're going to ask about the company you're walking in an interview with? Think about that. Start with the application. You know, it's by now a lot of you listening know that the demographic of the guys we hire, a lot of them are out of prison. A lot of them are off the streets. They've been through drug rehabilitation. They've been through behavioral health facilities after getting out of prison. We help a lot of guys. So you know the demographic of who we're hiring. So knowing that, be prepared for that coming through our door. You know, I have to be prepared for someone who's coming to work for us that's been in a union or another company for many years that hasn't been around this to understand what kind of business we run. So when you're coming in and you're filling out that application, you know, it states on there, have you ever been convicted of a felony? Now, we typically don't do background checks. We don't have to except for certain jobs. We've done certain jobs out there in certain facilities where we do have to go through a background check, and we will run certain guys that we know that can go on those jobs. But on there, it states, have you ever been convicted of a felony? It's amazing how many people will not answer anything. They won't answer yes or no or put anything on there. It's amazing how many people write no. And it's even more amazing to me how many guys put yes, and they'll put down what it was, or they'll put to be discussed privately. I'm going to tell you right now, in the construction industry out here in Arizona, do not put anything down. Why, you might ask? Because the second you write something down, guess what I'm going to ask? I'm going to ask what you did. Why even bring that to the table? I've been around long enough, and I can tell by the tattoos on you and how you walk, how you talk, where you've been locked up in here in Arizona. It's pretty obvious. You're not going to fool anybody in our company. So we know the demographic we're hiring. We know your background. We can tell by the way you look from tattoos or the way you talk or the verbiage that you use. It's very subtle, but we've seen it time and time again. What you've done in the past does not matter. It's what you do today moving forward that matters. So if you've been locked up and you've been out and you're coming in that interview, put that behind you and look forward. Look forward at what you're going to do for your future. Look forward to what you're going to do with our company. How are you coming into the interview as far as the way you're dressed? Are you going to come in dressed as a painter because you've been painting? You know, I've had guys walk in with brand new painter's pants, brand new painter's shirt. Doesn't look like they painted a day in their life, but they're dressed the part. That makes a difference. It's a difference. I've had guys come in and a dress shirt and a sport jacket. Not necessary for our positions, not necessary for our jobs, but they're dressed to impress. They're looking for work. They're doing whatever it takes to get in front of the right people to get the job. You might not have all the experience that I need to come work for me, but just be a hustler. Come out and work. Show me you want the job bad enough to where you're going to do whatever it takes to get in. The object is to get in the door, to get that job, to land that job, and then prove yourself. Just getting the job doesn't mean you made it. You've got to continue to prove yourself and continue to grind and continue to do better each day. And that goes back to in life in general. Nothing in life is easy. What am I going to do to better myself in life? Part of it's my job. You know, I work a lot of hours. I probably work 50, 60 hours a week. And then at any given time, I'm adding another 20 hours a week, helping out with the vocational program, helping out with the guys coming out of prison. That's a lot of hours. but it's a lot of dedication to what I want in my life and what I need in my life to help others and to help my business grow. It's amazing how much we've grown over the last 3-4 years. And it all has to do with the vocational program we started with, helping the guys out of prison, helping the guys off the streets. It's amazing when I look at 98% of my company is all out of prison and off the streets, and they are successful. Now, does everybody make it? No. There's some that don't, and they self-sabotage, and they're not prepared for the success that they want. You know, I saw a shirt a while back that everybody wants success until they see what it takes. It's hard work. It is not going to be easy, and you're going to have to battle for it, and you're going to have to grind. That's just what it takes. You have to work hard if you want something more and you want something better. Out of 1,000 guys going through our vocational program, I know 25 that are dead today, out of 1,000. And it's because they went back to the streets. They went back to the drugs. They went back to the old life. And it's unfortunate because, to be honest with you, I don't remember their names, and I don't want to. They're just a blip in the past for me. And some people might say that's cold-hearted, but I'm focused on the ones in front of me that want something more. The ones that want to better themselves. The ones that want to have a better life and not go back to prison. It's amazing how many guys come out and the last words that they're told as they're walking out, we'll leave the lights on for you when you come back. I'm sorry. It's time to make a change, and the change starts with you. It starts with you wanting to make a change to better yourself and being prepared for what you need to do. How many of you out there are 10 minutes late for work every day? You know, I've got a rule. You're only on time if you're 10 minutes early. And if you can live by that and you can change your mindset to think like that, it's amazing how prepared you can be for your future and for that job and better off that day. Your day will run 10 times smoother if you're 10 minutes early. That's all it takes. 10 minutes will change your future. It will change the way you look at your job. It'll change the way you look at your life. You start making these changes that we teach in the classes. These changes will change your life. It's amazing how many guys I look at that have gone through this. They've changed the way they walk, the way they talk, the way they dress, the way they carry themselves. They're new people. They're changing their outlook on life. They're changing where they're going because they're not looking at where they came from. They're focused on what's in front of them. And if we focus on what's in front of us, I'm telling you, you can make a change in your whole life. Your past does not matter. It doesn't matter what you did yesterday. I don't care what you had for breakfast. What are we doing now moving forward? Let's talk about lunch. That's the next step. Let's talk about work for the rest of the day. Let's get through this day and then prepare ourselves for the next day. Preparing yourself for the next day while you're at work today. What am I setting up today for tomorrow? At the end of the day, my workstation, my work, what am I starting with tomorrow? I want to be prepared. I want everything laid out and ready to go. For us, I'm going to make sure we have the paint order for tomorrow. We don't order paint for the whole job all at once. We order enough for about 50%, and then we order as we go after we see how much it took for the first half of the job. We don't want to over-order or under-order, so we have to make sure that we have what we need. So what am I doing to prepare for tomorrow? I'm going to make sure everything's laid out. I'm going to make sure my clothes are laid out. I'm going to make sure I have my paint order for tomorrow. I'm going to make sure everything is in place for me to be the most successful person I can be for tomorrow. What are you going to do for tomorrow? And you can't blame everybody else for your issues. You can't blame everybody else for your problems. Oh, I'm late, or this didn't work out because this, or, I showed up, but, we're supposed to have a 3-man crew and one guy didn't show up and didn't get done what I needed today. Well, what are you willing to do to try to meet those goals? Are you willing to work 2 hours overtime? Does that benefit you or does it benefit the company? I think it benefits both. It's amazing how many guys, I just work my 8 hours and I'm gone. I'm going home. Okay, so you're not in it to better yourself. It's just a job. Find something you like that you can work as much as you want to where it doesn't seem like work anymore. My job doesn't seem like work anymore. I enjoy what I do. I'm having fun. It's difficult for me right now because as I'm getting older, I'm thinking about retirement. I'm trying to set stuff in place, but I also look at it this way. I don't think I ever want to retire. I'm having too much fun. I enjoy what I do. It's amazing how many people retire and it's like, okay, it's over. What do you do next? I don't want to be that guy. I want to keep working until I can't. I want to keep grinding until I can't. I want to keep making a difference in other people's lives. I want to make a difference in my company and grow the company. and put the right people in place that can grow my company. It's amazing how many guys find this as something they're interested in. I had a guy recently that was a painter. We moved him into an estimating position. Wasn't working out there. He was there for about 6 months and just wasn't doing good. He was missing stuff on the bids, costing us money. And he actually came to us and decided that it wasn't working out and he wanted to go back in the field as a painter. We let him. A week later, he quits. Just says his heart wasn't in it. It hasn't been in it since he went in the estimating department. So now I'm looking at this guy. For 6 months, you've been unhappy. Why the hell would you do that to yourself? The second you know you're unhappy and it's not working out, make the change. Or grind harder. Find something to make it enjoyable. What is happening that you're doing this job day in and day out and you're just miserable? Don't be that guy. Find what you're looking for and find a way to make it work for you. You know, for some people, they come on board and they've never had a job like this before. They've never worked in this kind of environment before. We have a family environment within the office, within the company. We try to keep it that way. I want people to feel welcome with where we're at. We joke around. We're also serious. You know, you got to know when to turn it on and turn it off when it comes to joking and being serious. There's a time and place. So being prepared for that. We've had guys that we've tried to push into that next position. It did not work out. We'd had to bump them back down to a painter. There's nothing wrong with that. It just wasn't your time and you weren't ready for it. Maybe down the road, that position will come back again. We don't know when that's going to happen, but we want to prepare you. But at least a guy like this that came in our estimating department and went back into the field, the knowledge he gained from that 6 months of reading blueprints to better himself so he's a better asset in the field. I guarantee you it just added more value to him. You know, we make the best of these situations. You know, one of our superintendents fractured his ankle. He's on crutches. He can't be out on the job site. So what do? We put him in the estimating department. He's never been in there. He can barely read blueprints. In 2 weeks, he's now able to estimate. He's able to read the blueprints. He's able to better himself. He is going to be a better superintendent when he goes back in the field in a few more weeks, to where he's going to be stronger than he's ever been before. He gained all that knowledge. It's all about the way you look at it. How are you going to prepare yourself? What can we do to help our guys prepare for their position to make them better? I didn't even realize it, but him hurting his leg actually was a benefit for his education within the company and learning. So how are we utilizing that? We're utilizing it to where he's going to have so much knowledge going back in the field that he's going to be one of our strongest superintendents. His jobs are going to run more efficiently. He's going to know where all the information is. It amazes me how many superintendents out there on these job sites don't have a clue what they're doing. They don't know how to read their own blueprints. And our guys are going to have more knowledge, and they're going to come to our guys and say, well, you're supposed to be painting it this color. No, it's this color. No, it's not. Let's go look at the blueprints. And our guys are going to take them there and show them exactly where it's at and prove them wrong. That's the goal with this, to show that we have more knowledge than anybody else, and we're a stronger company because of it. We're going to be more prepared than anybody else out there. That's the goal. We want all of our guys to be prepared. We want to set them up to the next level. So how do I get everybody to my level? That's a start right there. Getting them to the next level of where they need to be, even if that's not their position, to where they can just automatically step into the next position. That's the goal with this. So as we proceed within our company and the growth and being prepared, it starts with day one coming in for the interview. Now it starts with showing up to the job on time. You know, we send out a job text through our CRM program, and that's how everybody clocks in, clocks out via phone number. And so if it's your first day and you came in on a Friday and you're starting Monday, you're going to get that job text about 4:30 on Sunday evening. Our job texts the day before always go out between 4 and 4:30. If you get that job text and it tells you where to be, I would go ahead and figure that out right then and there. Why do it then and not the next morning? Because now you can prepare for the drive. How far is it from the house? How far is it from where you're living to get to the job site? Now think about it. Do you need to stop for coffee in the morning? Do you need to stop for gas? Do you need to add some more time to that? That's what you have to be prepared for. I'm telling you right now, one thing that really impressed me is the first few guys I hired out of our vocational program really shocked me, because I just pounded it in them. You have to be 10 minutes early. You're only on time if you're 10 minutes early. I mean, we said that before and after every single class that I ran. And what it did was that very first day that I hired a couple of guys out of the program, they were there 30 to 45 minutes before we even opened the doors in the morning. Now, needless to say, they weren't starting for another hour and a half from the time we actually opened up the shop. But they were there early. They were prepared. John, what do you need me to do? Can I help anybody load up the truck? That's what I'm looking for. Who's there just willing to help and show that they want to be a part of this? It's amazing how many guys jump in and want to help. Oh, I'll help load up the truck. Well, they're not even clocked in yet. They're not getting paid for it. They didn't care. They just wanted to work. They wanted to be there. For some of these guys, we've got guys working for me that have been locked up for as much as 30 plus years, that for some of them, it's their very first job. They are thriving with this because they're taking what we taught in class. They're taking these lessons of being prepared, how to show up for an interview, how to show up on a job. They're walking on a job with their bucket of tools ready to go the second they're clocking in. They're not clocking in and then going back to their vehicle to get their tools and then show up on a job, walk around, figure what they're going to do for 20 minutes, get their coffee, and then start working. They're prepared to start working. If they're clocking at 7 o'clock, guess what? They're working at 7 o'clock. That's what we're supposed to be doing. That's how this works. That's how we prepare ourselves. That's how we show that we want to move up in position, how we want to prove to this company that I have more value than what you're paying me for. And you will be recognized. The guys that have moved up the fastest in our company, the guys that are the ones that are the most prepared for everything that they're doing. They're prepared for each step of the way. They're prepared for that day's work. They're prepared for the next day. They're asking, hey, what am I doing next week? Where do you have me? You know, my strong suit is interior brush and roll, or my strong suit is this on an exterior. They're wanting to prepare themselves. So as I look at these guys, the ones that have moved up the fastest, the ones that have gotten the most money, are the ones that never asked for it. I'm telling you right now, the guys that work for me that never asked for anything are the guys that got everything. They're the ones that moved up the fastest. They're the ones that got every raise when they were ready for it. Now, it doesn't mean sometimes that I might forget here and there, or it's like, oh crap, I should have given it to them a month ago. They do get the raise. They do get the more money. It comes to them. They just wait for it. But they're proving themselves every day. And they're not complaining about it. They're not complaining about the company or the guys they work with. Or, man, I'm sick and tired of working with these guys. I'm the one pulling my weight. They don't know how to do anything. Those are the guys that become a cancer within the company. The guys that are willing to help the others that don't know as much as them, help build them up, those are the leaders within the company. Those are the guys that are moving up the fastest. We are growing so fast as a company, we can't keep up with the work that we have coming in. So the ones that are showing the strength, the growth, being prepared every day, it shows. And you look at their personal life, and it shows in their personal life and what they're doing. The guys that come to work that, you know, they're struggling making their car payments, or they've always got a flat tire, or they're always going out and spending their money unwisely and not focused on what they need to do to better themselves and even in their personal life. We see that. It's recognizable. And it reflects on their work performance too. What you do in your personal life is going to reflect on your work life and vice versa. So I'm telling you, if you can perfect this, your whole life will change. You're going to see a change in your relationship with your family, with your wife, your parents, your kids, aunts, uncles. I'm telling you, this will change you. I've seen it in every person that comes on board with us that's successful out of this program and successful within our company. And it's not just the guys coming through our program. The guys that we're hiring that come in from one of our ads, it's amazing watching them, how we start talking to them and teaching them and mentoring them and how we run the company and what we do and how we grow our company, how they grasp on, and watching the change in even them. And some of these guys have not been in prison or locked up. Some of them had their issues in the past. We all have. But it's amazing watching the growth in them not even go through the program, just being around the rest of us. You know, I'm a firm believer that negativity breeds negativity. You're around someone that's negative, you're going to become negative. You're around someone positive, you will start to become more positive. the positivity will outweigh the negative stuff and the attitudes around you. That's what we've seen within our company. There's such a positivity around the guys, and they get along so good. And we build that brotherhood, that camaraderie, that family environment. And somebody coming in who doesn't have that attitude, it's amazing watching that change in them. It's amazing watching that brick wall fall down brick by brick as they come in. I've seen it within the program as we're teaching. I've seen guys walk into my class the very first day. This guy can't teach me anything. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Hell, Fred, who was on our podcast a few weeks ago, felt that way when he first came in. This is just common sense. Everybody can do this. Common sense isn't common anymore. That's what we're teaching. And it starts with you wanting to do something better, to be a better employee. For a lot of you guys out there, you might be listening to this and you might be saying, oh, my boss doesn't notice me. He doesn't give me a raise. Well, keep grinding, keep pushing, quit complaining about it. Maybe he does see everything you're doing, but all he hears is complaining. What does that tell him? He's not going to pay attention to you. He's just dealing with you as an employee. I have a certain amount of employees that work for us that they're on a list that we're just waiting for better guys to come on so we can let them go because they are a cancer within our company. They're not a good employee. They're not a good worker. They're not an asset to what we're doing. And they should not be within our organization. So how do we deal with that? We look for the next best person coming in. As guys grow within the company, as we hire new people on, that revolving door of guys that just don't care, don't want to be there, we eventually get rid of them. Or they get rid of themselves. That helps out too. It's amazing how you give them enough time, they'll shoot themselves in the foot and get rid of themselves. They end up exiting before we have a chance to show them the door. And they're always out for them. It's never about the company. It's never for the better, greater good of anything else but them. You can't look at it this way. We have one life to live. We're in this life to better ourselves, to better the people around us, to better our situation, to better wherever we're at. If I can make this place a better place before I leave, then I've gained everything from this. It's the same with you with the job coming on. How am I preparing myself for this job to better everybody around me? How can I teach everybody around me to get to my level? That's what we're doing. So it's changing the way you think, the way you walk, the way you talk, the verbiage you use. Coming into an interview with me, don't come in there and call me bro. Don't call me dude. One thing I really hate for a lot of these guys coming out of prison, they call me dog. I'm not your dog, dude. And there I go using the word dude. You got to think about the verbiage that you're using. Try to eliminate the word from your vocabulary. I'm in an interview with somebody. I'm asking a question. Try to think about that. We had a guy come in one of our meetings one time. I think it was a sales rep. And he used the word so many times, I was putting a little check mark on a piece of paper. And I think within 10 minutes, he used the word about over 50 times. That's a lot. So think about how you talk. Think about how you're explaining situations. If I'm asking you, where have you worked? Tell me where you worked. Don't say, I worked over here. We did this. You should know the answer like that and spit it out. You work there, obviously. You know what you were doing. You know the people you were around. So explain it in perfect terminology. Just let it flow. Talk about what you did. How were you an asset to that company? Well, why did you leave that company? Oh, well, the owner wasn't that good and he didn't know what he was doing. Okay, that's the wrong answer. I don't want to hear you bash another company. Because what does that tell me? That tells me when you leave my company or something happens here, you're going to bash me. You're going to bash my company. You're not going to make it here like that. The last guy that came up to me and said that we had hired him and eventually we're probably going to make him a lead on a crew. John, your leads are a bunch of losers and one of your superintendents is the biggest loser. I said, well, let me tell you something right there. If that's the way you feel, you shouldn't be working for me. So let's consider this your last day. Think about how you're presenting yourself. How are you going to present yourself and represent the company you're working for? Representing your company, you're going to wear our company t-shirt. You're going to be in a company truck. You're going to be on a job with other company members. How are you portraying yourself to the public out there or the other workers, the other trades around you? You have to think about that. You are an extension of that company. Whether you want to be or not, you chose to be there. That's your job. Act like it. You're in a company truck. Don't be throwing cigarette butts out the window. First of all, you can't smoke in our company trucks. Don't be throwing trash out the window. If you're driving a company truck, be careful who you're cutting off. Look both ways. Company t-shirt. Don't be at the Quickie Mart in the morning getting your coffee and start cussing in line or talking about what you did the day before where other people can hear it. You start F-bombing nonstop and people are going to see that name on that shirt and our company logo. They're going to know who you work for. Don't be that guy. Be the guy that represents the company in the right way. Because ultimately, you're representing yourself as a person. People are going to look at you and think, man, I wouldn't want that guy working for me. I'd rather have guys looking at you and say, I want that guy to work for me. It's amazing how many other companies out there come headhunting my guys because of the way we train them, because of the way they work, the way we teach them. They represent something bigger than just themselves. They represent our company. And there's other companies out there that know what we've created within our company, and they want that. They want to be a part of this. They want their employees to do the same as our employees. We welcome them to become a part of our program, to hire out of our program, to train their guys. But it's amazing how many people aren't willing to invest in it. They're not willing to take the time to invest in their employees. They're just a number. Our employees aren't just a number. They're an extension of the company. They're an extension of what we've created as a business. We've created something that is bigger than me or the name of the company. We've created an environment, a family. We're prepared to go to the next level. So these other companies, they want the quick fix. They want to hire out of our program. They think that's all you got to do. No, you've got to still mentor guys. You still got to train them. It still continues. We actually hired a guy to work for us as a trainer. So he goes out in the field and works on certain jobs where we're struggling with certain guys that are still learning, still come out of the program. They need more attention, and we'll put this guy on those jobs to help continue their training. He might work with them for a day or two or a week or two, and we move him to the next job or the next guy that needs help. That's what we do within our company. Our superintendents are trained when they go on jobs because our superintendents oversee 4 to 5 jobs at a time, and they're in multiple locations. Their job is to work with each person on each job site for 10 minutes each day. So if there's 2 painters on a job site and he's got to go there and talk to the superintendent, he's got to walk the job, well, he better plan on spending 20 minutes there because he's got 2 painters. And that 20 minutes is there to train them, work side by side, get to know these guys better, get to know their personal issues, get to know them as a person. In doing that, once he's done, then he can walk the job. Then he can go meet with the superintendent of the general contractor and do what he needs to do. He has time to do that. So that's part of preparing himself for that job and setting it up for success. Each position has a different way to prepare. Each duty, everything that you're doing will have a different way to prepare for it. Whether you're an estimator, whether you're a superintendent, whether you're a trainer, whether you're a painter, whether you're just a helper, make sure you're prepared for everything that you have in front of you. It's preparing your meals for the week. It's preparing your clothes for the week. It's preparing your tools for the week. If one of your tools breaks, making sure you got a new one ready for the next day. Making sure your clothes are washed. Making sure that you have enough pants, painter's pants and painter's shirts for the week if you can't do laundry but once a week for your work clothes. It's being prepared for every situation and thinking ahead. If you can start to train yourself to do that, you can start to train yourself to do that in life and everything else that you need to do. It starts with an internal look at what am I going to do today? I've got a lot in front of me over the next 3 weeks. I'm preparing for a lot. I'm preparing for the next class. I'm preparing to start a new vocational program with a new organization that's starting tomorrow. I'm also selling a house, buying a house that I'm moving out of, moving into. There's a lot on the plate. I have to prepare for each step of the way. Part of preparing is I have a notepad on my desk. I have a list of what I need to get done today. I guarantee I'm not getting everything done today. It's not going to happen. But what I do is I cross off each one that I get done, and then the next morning, those are the first ones on my list, and then I write what I need to get done that day. I'm going to tell you right now, I never, ever finish my list. I can't remember the last time I did. But it's there to remind me, and that's my goals that I push forward for and what I'm trying to get done. I'm preparing myself so I don't forget anything. And in the middle of the day, all of a sudden I'll remember, oh crap, I forgot to write this down. I'll write it down on the list right then and there. That's how I prepare myself. Or if I'm driving on the road, going to a job site or doing something else, I'm going to call the office and talk to one of the girls. Hey, can you go to my office and on that notepad, can you write this down real quick for me so I don't forget? And have them write it. So I'm setting myself up so I don't fail. It's not to say I'm not going to get everything done on the list, because I know I'm not, but I'm going to try my hardest to. And maybe one of these days I will eventually get that list done. There's a possibility. But I keep grinding at it and I keep pushing forward through it. And that's what sets me up for success the next day. Getting that list shorter. It is a struggle each day, trying to, the weight of what we carry as business owners or project managers, superintendents, there's a lot on our shoulders. And we have to prepare ourselves and set us up for the best success. And we don't have to do it by yourself. There's a team, there's people to help you. Even in your personal life, you don't have to do it by yourself. Maybe you have a spouse. Maybe that's who does your laundry. Maybe help fold the clothes, make it easier for that person. Maybe it's coming up with a game plan with the other people in your life to help you be successful. If you're married and have a wife and kids and you're trying to be successful at your job and you know there's certain things you have to put in place to make it happen, make it a team effort. Get everybody involved. Hey guys, I'm trying to get this raise at work. I'm trying to get this next position so we can better our personal life, our family. Here's what I need to do to prepare. I need to be out the door on time. I need to have my lunch ready and make sure my clothes are clean. What can everybody do to help you accomplish that? So start thinking in that sense, because if you can't do it at work, it isn't going to happen at home. If you can't do it at home, it's not going to happen at work. It has to coincide with each other. It has to work in both senses. That's going to be the best for your success. So how do you get your family involved? It starts with you, just having that conversation. So talk to somebody about it. Talk to your coworkers. Man, who's that coworker that always seems to be moving up in position, always gets a raise every time he needs it or wants it, but never asks for it? What is he doing? Start looking at him. Don't be jealous of him. Look at him and say, what is he doing that I'm not doing? I need to step up my game. How can I make a difference? How can I change something in my life to emulate somebody else that's doing things successfully? That's what I need to do. So as I'm trying to be more successful, I'm going to look around at the people around me that are successful. How can I be more like them? I'm also going to look at the guys around me that they're not successful. Man, they seem to fail at everything. They don't care about anything. I'm going to look at them and think, what am I not going to do? Well, I'm not going to be like him. I'm not going to be a part of that. And I'm not going to hang around him anymore. I'm going to start hanging around this guy that seems to be on the right path for success. That's who I want to be like. That's what I want to emulate. That's who I'm trying to be as my future continues with this company. How do I get to the next level? How do I prepare myself to get more money, to move up in position? Well, you got to educate yourself too. How am I going to educate myself within my job? Maybe it starts with watching videos on how to do certain things. If you're working in construction and you don't know how to read blueprints, guess what? I'd start learning how to read blueprints. There's 1,000 videos out there that can start to teach you. If you work for me and you want to learn how to read blueprints, I'm going to give you an old set. Take them home, study them. I'll talk to you. We'll highlight them. I'll show you what you need to do. I'll walk you through the steps of how to read these. It starts with that, but it starts with you wanting it. If you don't want it, don't complain because you don't have it. Don't complain that you don't have more money or you haven't moved up in position if you're not doing the necessary steps to get yourself to that level. So what am I doing to get myself to the next level? Am I going to read the blueprints? Am I going to learn how to read these? How can I make my jobs more efficient? How can I learn to do something differently? Self-educate. Learn from the people around you. Start studying. We had a guy many, many years ago. We don't do drywall, but we were doing a lot of residential at the time. And this guy started teaching himself how to do drywall repairs. He learned from watching videos online. Within 3 months, he was perfect at doing drywall. We would have him doing every repair on every single job we had. We are now starting to bid some of these with the repairs included into it because we knew we had the right guy to do it. He took that upon himself. Once he started doing it, guess what? He got more money. It happened. It just took him wanting to better himself. Now this day, I think he's out there, ran into him a little while ago, and he's working for himself. He's now, I don't know if he's licensed, bond, insured, but he's doing his own drywall work. He's working 100% for himself, not for another company. He subs himself out to other companies to help him out. But he is his own boss. He can pick and choose his jobs. And he's in a brand new truck doing very, very well for himself. That's what it takes. Are you willing to do what it takes? Don't complain when you don't get there, because the only person stopping you is you. Look in the mirror today and say, what am I doing to better myself? Only you can make it happen. You're going to be the one to determine whether you get better at something or not. Can you get worse? Yeah, some people can. But you're not going to excel if you don't try. You've got to force yourself to do it. Don't tell me it's too hard. Don't tell me I can't. Those aren't in my vocabulary. We will do this. We will find a way. We're going to make it happen. So get off your ass and get out there and make it happen. That's all it takes. You've got to force yourself to do it. If you start to make these changes, everything will change. I've seen it happen in my own life. I've seen it happen with guys that work for me. I've seen it with guys that have come to my company, decided this wasn't for them, but it was a stepping stone to something else. We still stay in touch, and they're still out there being successful. And we've become friends over the years. Some of my best friends in my life currently are guys that have worked for me that no longer work for me, that have gone to something bigger and better, and they're making something out of their lives. I was just a stepping stone for them. I'm okay with that. Doesn't offend me at all. I'm proud of them. I want more guys like that, because I know at the same time I'm going to retain some of the guys that they're going to stick with me. They don't want to do that. They're happy where they're at. They just want to continue to get better at what they're doing and hone on their skill set that they currently have working for me. That's okay. Takes all kinds to make this world go around. So as you're looking at these situations and you're trying to figure out how to better yourself, it starts with you. Nobody can make you do it. No one's going to twist your arm and say, you need to do this. We're going to tell you what you need to do. Question is, are you willing to do it? It's amazing how many people out there are weak. We are living in a weak generation where everybody wants everything given to them. It's not going to happen. If you're strong, if you're willing to go out there and grind, if you're hungry and you want something better and you want to find that beast mode within yourself, I guarantee you will be the guys that will walk on everybody else and get to the top before them. That's what it takes. But you've got to show that you want it. If you want that, if you've got that within you, you will outperform everybody else out there. Guaranteed. And you can do it. I guarantee you it will happen. But it starts with you. I can talk to I'm blue in the face to anybody. But you've got to be the one to implement it. I can show you the way, but I can't make you do it. Only you can make yourself do it. So, once again, I'd like to thank everybody for joining us today and listening to the podcast. If you know somebody that needs help or is in prison or on the streets in Arizona or somewhere else and you need help getting back on your feet, reach out to us. We are here to help anybody. We do this together as a team. It's not just me out there. We have a whole team put together that's helping guys get their lives back in order and get back off the streets, stay out of prison, be successful members of society. And it's making a difference. So thank you for joining us today.